Hello, welcome back to another video and happy new year. Now that we've finally entered 2019, I thought that I would talk about the anime that I will be watching in 2019. At least the anime that I know I'll be watching in 2019 already. This list may increase or it may be some cuts, it's hard to tell really, but anyway, let's go through the anime that I'll be watching this year because it's quite an interesting list. Not really the longest list, I'll be honest with you, but it's still quite an interesting one. Starting with winter of 2019, that is in January, which is now. Actually, I haven't got a lot of plans during this period, and that's because I was looking through the anime that are coming out, but I just could not find much that piqued my interest. Naturally, I will be watching The Promised Neverland, as it is a series that I've been following since it was very young. I didn't start reading the manga already from chapter 1, but I did start when it was in its early 30s. I absolutely love this series from the very beginning, and I absolutely love the arc that is being adapted in the anime, so let's just say that I can't wait for the anime to start, and I am so excited to see what the adaptation is going to look like and be like in general. It could go either way really. It's either really good or maybe it's a bust. However, that doesn't mean that you should limit your expectations necessarily. I know I won't. The only other anime that I plan to watch in winter 2019 is an anime that I picked very recently, quite randomly too in fact. It's called Wino-san Wabukyo. From the PV, it looks like it's going to be an ecchi slice of life comedy show, which I have no issues with. It looks like it may have some alarming themes, like the characters looking very young, but at the end of the day, the way I see it, let the young have some fun as well. Let's be honest, it's not like we're going to see a 14-year-old flash us. Just as an example. As long as the comedy is where it needs to be, and as long as the plot, assuming there is one, holds up, then I'm sure everything will be just fine. Okay, moving on to spring of 2019. Now this season is going to be a little more interesting than my watch list of winter 2019, mostly because, quite frankly, we're getting a lot of good stuff going into this season, in my opinion of course. So let's talk about the anime that I'll be watching throughout spring, and most of it, if not all of them, are not really gonna surprise most of you guys. I'm just gonna be honest with you on that one. One Punch Man in season 2, this one I've been waiting for a very long time. Though the studio has changed since season 1, I have hope that it will do a good job. There has been some worries on social media regarding the recent PV trailer because some of the changes that were made in the art style and the animation style, but I'm really not too worried about that if I'm being honest with you. I think it will be different for sure. I mean, that's just what you should be expecting when an anime switches a studio completely. It could be a complete disaster of course, but it certainly also could have a surprise for us in a variety of positive ways. So it's as they say, don't judge a book by its cover, or in this case, don't judge a season by its trailer. I also plan on watching the continuation of Attack on Titan's third season, the second core that is. This one is going to adapt one of my favorite arcs in Attack on Titan, so I really am quite excited, especially seeing as Attack on Titan typically has an overall good adaptation, or at least has had the past 2 seasons as well as the first half of season 3. Some small changes were made, I'm sure, but nothing that erupted into chaos, so I have no reason to worry about this one really. I'm simply going to enjoy this show for what it is, and that's really it. So the last show I'll be watching in spring, or at least the last confirmed pick of spring 2019, is Kimetsu no Yaiba. This is the one you guys should be looking out for because it is likely going to be one of the best releases of the year, and I really do mean that. You'll be hearing rumors from some people, of course, about this show that may cause you to take distance from it, but let me promise you, said rumors are not true at all. This show has nothing alarming going on apart from being quite violent as a shonen, which is nothing new really, especially if you've watched shows like Hunter x Hunter where violence is quite a normal thing. I have big hopes for Kimetsu no Yaiba, given that it is being adapted by a really good studio, and well, the story of Kimetsu no Yaiba is really good, so it really looks like it's going to be receiving wonderful treatment. However, like like with most things, I will not give my final judgment until the show has come and gone, because adaptations can be a lot worse than you really expect them to be. Regardless, I strongly suggest you check this out when it comes out, because it is likely going to be a real banger of 2019. Now, there is one more show in 2019 that I may check out in spring, which is I Am From Japan. This one is quite interesting because the manga is actually very new. By the time I'm making this video, the manga should have under 20 chapters, and so the fact that it already has an anime in the works is extremely unusual. I can only imagine that it's either being adapted differently from the manga, or that the manga is not really planning on being very long running. I haven't decided if I'll check it out yet. I have not read the manga, of course, so it would be something new for me, but the general idea of the show is that it's a gag martial arts show, so I guess we'll just have to wait and see with that one whether I check it out or if I don't. Now guys, let's move on to summer of 2019. This is where things get a little bit crazy on a more personal level for me, because my current favorite manga is having its anime debut during summer, and that is of course Dr. Stone. This is a shonen. Well, it's not really a battle shonen, but rather more of an adventure sci-fi shonen, but it should not be confused with the type of adventure that you really get to experience when you like watch or read One Piece. This is a very different type of adventure, but let me tell you, it is one of the best mangas I've ever picked up, and I don't plan on putting it down until it ends because it is absolutely phenomenal. I won't be saying much about it though, because I may actually risk spoiling you guys if you plan on going into Dr. Stone blind. Apart from Dr. Stone though, I don't actually have anything else that I really plan on checking out during summer unless a certain show gets confirmed for this particular season in 2019. I will talk more about that at the end of the video though. So let's jump straight into fall, because while there is no new shows really for me during fall, we do have My Hero Academia's 4th season. And let me tell you, this is one season that is really going to make it hard for any other shows to keep up. Well, at least any other battle shonens. For those that enjoyed season 3 of My Hero Academia, you guys are not ready for what's coming. I fucking wish I was an anime only for this one, but even as a manga reader, it's going to be an absolute treat watching this season. Funnily enough, My Hero Academia is also the only show for fall 2019 that I can say with absolute certainty that I will be watching. Again, there may be shows that are announced throughout 2019 for summer and fall, and I may or may not pick them up, but there is one show that I will pick up. I just don't know what season it's going to belong to, and that is Fire Force. Fun fact, Fire Force is done by the same mangaka that is Soul Eater, so if the art style of this show seems very familiar to you, that's why. Anyway, for now, this is all the anime that I plan to watch this upcoming year, so I would love to know what all of you guys plan to watch throughout 2019, if you have anything planned, that is. Maybe you take each season as it comes around, and that is perfectly fine too, honestly. I pretty much did that this past year, to be honest, apart from maybe a few shows like the mainstream ones, you know, My Hero Academia and stuff like that. Anyway, with that said, be sure to Detroit smash that like button if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. This has been Chaotic Plus, and remember, Toga is waifu, Toga is laifu.